Let's talk culture, a word that is used a lot, but what I mean is, what does One and All Church and O&A Youth want to be known as characteristically? We want to be growing in our character and Christ-likeness. We want to focus on becoming healthier, maybe not being healthy, but becoming healthier spiritually and emotionally. I believe when Christ calls us to follow him, the call is holistic, meaning all of our lives, all of who we are, all of what we do, and all of what we love is brought around the centrality of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is centered in my life. I exist to serve and glorify him. We want that to kind of be our mission statement. Personally, individually, collectively, this means not just the spiritual health of our life, but also our emotional health. The truth is that we cannot be spiritually mature if we're not emotionally mature. The same is true for our students. We need to help care for their emotional health and encourage their spiritual health and journey. Okay, so what does this actually look like? The culture of O&A Youth is all about relationships and next steps. Relationships and next steps. If I can ingrain that into your heart, into your mind, into your soul, I would. It is about relationships and next steps. It's about caring for who they are as a person, what they're going through, their pain, what they're struggling with, and then helping them realize and recognize and take their next spiritual steps. This brings their emotional health and their spiritual growth together. It is the beautiful combination of these two that leads to heart renovation and life transformation. This is how they know they matter, they have value, they are loved, and they're encouraged in their spiritual journey. Am I loving this person well? And am I helping them look more like Jesus? This practically works out like this. It requires a lot of listening and a lot of question asking. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. Whatever you're picturing, triple it. People do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. I worked in a group home right out of college, and there was youth ages 12 to 18 who lived in a home, and they had just come from juvie. All of them had hard lives, gang backgrounds, started doing meth when they were 8 years old. I mean, just crazy story after crazy story. When I first showed up, if I ever tried talking about myself, they wouldn't listen. They would subconsciously walk away. They didn't care. After about a month of me just asking questions, hey, what's your favorite food? Hey man, how's your day going? Hey, what's your favorite movie? Hey, what do you miss about home? Question after question, listening and so much listening. I picked up this kid from school. He hops in the car and then he looks at me and goes, hey, Mr. Grabowski, how's your day? I stopped the car. I was in such shock. I was like, I turned and I looked at him. I was like, what did you just say to me? And he goes, I was just wondering, man, how's your day? I was like, man, it was good. And I ended up forming relationships with each and every one of those students. I'm actually Facebook friends with most of them. A lot of them actually ended up accepting Jesus because I listened and I asked questions. A lot. So much. That's what leads to life change is, how am I caring for this person? We are so concerned, so obsessed with monitoring and modifying behaviors, and we want to go after their heart. We want them to open up about what is really happening in their lives and meet them in that place. It's called incarnational ministry. You want to laugh with them, cry with them, do life with them. And it won't always be easy. But neither is growing up feeling like no one believes in you. No one cares about you. No one's supporting you. I'm not saying it's true. Most of these students have parents that love them. But a lot of times they probably do feel like that. Be the kind of leader you needed when you were their age. And you will be tempted to give a ton of advice. Here's a bit of advice on advice giving. Don't do it. What? Refrain from giving advice. Wow. What do I mean by that? Here's the thing. Self-discovery is 90% more effective than being told something. Usually our advice is obvious and useless, and usually we don't even listen to our own advice. So here's the real way to give advice, because students do need advice. They need your wisdom and your knowledge. But if and when you give advice, turn your advice into a question. So here's an example. If you're listening to someone and you think, man, if they began to pray every day, that would really help them. Instead of saying, hey, you should just start praying every day, ask them, hey, what do you think about praying every day? And this will help you know where they're at. They might go, no, there's no way I want to pray every day. And you go, oh, okay, so my advice wouldn't have mattered anyway. They go, oh, wow, that's a good idea. But because you asked them, it feels like they discovered it themselves. You're kind of doing a Jedi mind trick. But take your advice, put it in the form of questions, because they do need your advice, but they more so need you to ask questions and to listen. That's how you help them take next steps. Hey, what's your next steps in your faith? Hey, what's your highs and lows this week? What's going on in your life, man? And they're open up about things that might shock you. Try not to look like it, but just listen and go, man, that's so tough. I get why you're feeling like that. Actually, it makes sense why you're feeling like that. In fact, I think it's normal. And you'll be surprised how much students open up to you, how much they trust you, because they know you care. That's practically how you show people that they matter to you and that they matter to God. So taking next steps also will look different for everyone. Use the 4 things that matter most. Maybe they need to get baptism. Maybe they need to get in the Word once a week. Maybe they need to get in it once a month. It's going to look different for everyone. Maybe they need to process emotions. They need to learn to be vulnerable. They need to open up. They need to find somewhere to serve. They need to give, maybe, for the students that randomly have jobs and are super mature. It takes time. And genuinely, you have to pour into them, and it takes consistency. And helping them take next steps in their faith is crucial to life change. It's bringing emotional health and spiritual health together. There we have it. That's the culture of ONA Youth. It's about loving these students deeply, having a relationship with them that is genuine and takes time and consistency. It's about helping them take the next steps in their faith to look like Jesus. The best thing we bring to leadership is to transform lives ourselves, which brings us to the topic of our team member values that we will focus on in the next video.